Hey y'all, this is David with Liberty Suppressors, and today we're going to go over how to clean a silencer. Okay, before we get started, one thing you got to do before you clean your silencer, and that's be safe. We're going to do basically two things here. One, we're going to make sure that the firearm in question is unloaded, and we're going to look in the chamber and we're going to look through the mag well to make sure there are no cartridges in this firearm. Now that we've determined the firearm is safe to handle, then we're going to remove the silencer from it. Now we can set the firearm aside for its own cleaning regimen in a little while, and now we can get on to the business of cleaning the silencer. Some of the things you're going to need to clean your suppressor are the same sorts of things you need to clean your firearm. That would be cleaning solvent, an assortment of brushes. I have a stainless brush here and a plastic, and this is the classic M16 toolkit brush that comes in the military toolkits. Some type of tool to scrape the carbon buildup with. This is just a small screwdriver. You could use a pick or an awl or a scribe, anything that's got a sharp edge on the tip just to scrape some carbon buildup with. This works well for us. A little bit of oil never hurts anything. And then a couple of old cleaning cloths. These are from, just cleaning all sorts of stuff. These are those disposable shop rags, but, just some cleaning cloths. And that's all you really need as far as special equipment goes, as far as cleaning equipment. Special equipment would be silencer specific, and that would be sometimes there's a special tool that might be involved in the disassembly of the suppressor. But as far as cleaning goes, this is all you need. So we're going to clean the Vector in this video. And here's the simple truth about the Vector. It's designed for easy maintenance. Now you can shoot enough rimfire through this can to basically seal it shut. It can be done. I don't recommend it. I recommend cleaning it on regular intervals. Like when you clean your gun, clean your rimfire can. Don't just put it on the shelf and expect it to come apart flawlessly after tens of thousands of rounds, because that's just not possible. You'll eventually weld the baffles together or weld them to the tube. It's just physics. But if you maintenance this, you can go a couple thousand rounds and this can will come apart just fine. So what we're going to do, this one's had some rounds put through it. I don't know how many, but not a lot, a few hundred probably. And we're going to dismantle it, and I'm going to show you all the points to clean and how to clean it. All right, the front of the cap is meant for a 3/8 ratchet. So you break it loose, and then that's the only time you need to ratchet. And then there'll be two baffles in the expansion chamber. And you can see there's carbon on them. It's been shot some, actually. And there's a little bit of buildup on them. Nice. Okay. Now the extension housing is just screwed into the body. And it should be able to be broken loose manually like that. And there's a good bit of carbon on it. You can see it right there. Now the baffles, as you see, should just fall out. One of these, the blast baffle in particular, has this ring on it. That ring is important. That's your blast chamber spacer ring, so that keep up with that. The orientation and location of each of these baffles is irrelevant. They're all identical. So you can just literally just take them out, separate them. And you can see, like this one, there's a pretty significant amount of buildup on this baffle right here. You can see it. And this one's got a pretty good bit built up right here. It's catching. There's some on this one. And what that is, that's from the previous baffle where it nested with it. And a lot of times, yeah, you can see it here. There's a ridge buildup right here on the inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to wet all these down with solvent first. And then, because once the solvent gets them wet, they're easier to clean. Now, the rear cap, it comes with this little spanner deal, shouldn't be super tight, because you torque the baffles with the extension housing or the front cap if it's the short configuration from the front. So you run this down till it stops against the tube, hand tight, but you don't torque it. And that way the rear cap screws out easily. And we'll clean it separately. And there you go. Now the tube's off, and there's the rear cap. We'll set it aside. First thing I'm gonna do is wet all these baffles. It makes them easier to clean. A lot of times this rim fire buildup won't wash off readily anyway. Surgical cleanliness isn't crucial. It never has been. People get it in their head that they got to get it back to a factory original clean, but you don't. You just want to get the major buildup off of it so that it will come apart in the future with little effort. I'm gonna make sure that that ridge that forms on the inside is broken loose on every single one of them. There we go. Look at that. This canvas is pretty dirty. Now that you can see that we've got the bulk of the material out of it, we're just gonna get a rag and wipe off the baffles. And you'll see, like, there's a buildup right here. And that was where this port was lined up with that face. Well, I dropped it. And getting that off isn't critical, but that's as far as I clean that baffle. Most of these don't even have one on it. That must have been close to the blast chamber. This one does. There we go. Just pop that one little piece off. But yeah, you see I'm not getting the face of the baffle clean. What I'm more interested in is making sure that this edge and this little groove where they interlock has got no trash in it. We've experimented with numerous different ways of orienting these ports, and it's up to you to test it on your particular vector. But for us, it seems like if you stagger them, like at least 45 degrees or a half a turn, they seem to be quieter. I'm going to finish cleaning these and then we'll come back and we'll start doing the assembly portion. Okay, now that I've got the baffles clean, I've stacked these up and I've oriented the slot opposite in every single one of them, as you can see. Now, what we want to do is we want to make sure this hasn't got any excessive buildup on it. It being stainless steel, I tend to clean this joint where they meet with my stainless brush, because it keeps any buildup from stopping the thing from going back together. You can see there's some caked up material here. The fortunate thing about the design is the outside is where the journal is. I'll wipe it off right quick and I'll show you. The ring, this blast chamber ring, sits over it in that groove. It don't go in it. So fortunately, the way we built it, the buildup doesn't prevent it from going back together. Now we're going to go ahead and put this in the tube. It goes in the end with a serial number. And I'm going to snug it until it stops. Now that's done. Now the baffles are already stacked, so I'm just going to drop the tube down over them. Oh, got ahead of myself. And put this one back in the right spot. There we go. Got to put this ring on. All right, and then it goes over. Now you can see that I have the right gauge length. We could just put the front cap in and screw it down and make the short version. But what we're going to do is set that very carefully down. We're going to go ahead and put these two baffles in the extension housing. Now, it needs cleaning. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's just do that. We'll brush this out with the plastic brush, because the extension housing is aluminum. And then we'll just wipe it out with the rag. And there you go. We've got 90% or 95% of the buildup out. It's enough that it'll go together. Then you'll just drop these two baffles in, orienting the slots like the rest. And you run this little cap in. All right. Then we run the whole assembly together after we drop it at least once. All right, and then we tighten this back in. There we go. And now the can's reassembled. You just wipe off the outside. To get the excess clean solvent off of it. And you're done. Now it's ready to put back into service. So that's really all there is to cleaning your suppressor. So if you don't mind, go over to our social media. You can follow us there. You can see what we do. You can contact us. You know, go to our website. We have an email subscription. You can subscribe to that. So Until next time, be sure to keep your powder dry. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.